Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Just got done a few short minutes ago watching the NASCAR Busch Clash, as I still call it, from Bowman Gray Stadium. First time ever they've held it there. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about it because it's basically NASCAR's preseason. It's basically a practice race, a scrimmage race for the football fans out there. It means nothing for the season. And normally, I don't even watch that race because it is pretty much practice. But Bowman Gray Stadium is so small, so tiny, and so compacted that I knew there was no way they were going to have 20 plus drivers on that racetrack for 200 laps and not have a lot of action, and they did. And NASCAR's coming off a NASCAR all-time best season as far as overall passes in each race. They had a record last year for most passes, and they had a record last year for the most side-by-side checkered flag finishes. And that's what you want. I always tell people that the competition is better now than ever. And they don't want to believe that, but that's living proof that that is accurate. So I'm so excited about the Daytona 500 coming up in 2 weeks. But if you jump on here tonight live, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. But tonight, my topic is not going to be NASCAR. Going to have a couple different topics. My first one is that earlier today, as I mentioned earlier in the week, I was at the Royston Dome in Royston, Georgia, right off of Cherry Street for Scrappy Championship Wrestling. I got to ref 3 matches today. We had the special attraction match with Nick Halen versus Da Silva. And then we had Caleb Crocker versus Austin Thorne and Hunter James versus Terry the Rocker Lawler. Now, the Hunter James versus Terry Lawler match is probably the most fun I've had refereeing a match in a long time. And even if you're not a wrestling fan or claim you're not a wrestling fan, when that match gets put on YouTube, I encourage you to go back and watch it because I promise you, even if you're not a wrestling fan, you will enjoy that match. Hey there, random man. Glad to have you here. So 3 matches I ref today, and Scrappy Championship Wrestling's next show at the Royston Dome is coming up on April the 13th, I believe it is, whatever the second Sunday in the month of April is. Hey there, Hacker J. Glad to have you here. Britt, glad you're here. Brantley, glad you're here. And Hacker J, my day is fantastic. Every day is a good day. There are no such thing as bad days. We let bad moments give us bad days. But I don't believe in having bad days. So I choose to get over whatever the bad moment is in that day and move on. Hey there, Bailey. Glad to have you here. And this is a channel where I talk wrestling, NASCAR, basketball, baseball, football, and you never know what else I might talk about. And please give me a like, Britt. I would greatly appreciate that. And Bailey, so glad you asked that question. But I also want to talk about the huge NBA trade that happened last night because it took the NBA world by storm. And honestly, really, truly, I think it took just the sports world in general, even if you're just a casual NBA fan, by surprise because nobody expected it. Because typically, when there's a trade that might happen, there's always, rumors of it, rumors about it. You hear about it, and they talk about, where this player might go, or, if the player's got a trade clause, he'll tell you, hey, trade me here, but I'm not going here. I'm not going here. And they talk about, why does that player not want to go to, that state, or why does that player not want to go to that team? But in this instance, nobody had heard anything at all about the trade. So nobody expected the trade. And then all of a sudden, boom, it happens. And I think the reason why you didn't hear anything about the trade was because the Dallas Mavericks, were the team that, hey there, Riker, I'm glad you're here. The Dallas Mavericks were the team that initiated the trade. They were the ones that wanted the trade. They are the ones that contacted the Lakers first to make the trade. And I think since Luka Doncic is supposed to be a superstar, you trade your superstar in his prime, you're going to get backlash from fans wondering, why are you doing this? And Dallas didn't want to hear any questions as to why they're doing it. They didn't want to hear no backlash as to why they're doing it. They didn't want the general manager to veto the trade because of the fact the fans were up in arms about it. So they just said, you know what? We'll just keep our mouths shut. So when it happens, there's going to be no talk about it until it happens. And then by that time, if the fans don't like it, oh well, it's already happened. But they claim the Mavericks made the trade because Luka Doncic basically, in a roundabout way, is lazy off the court, and they're claiming that he doesn't like to practice, he doesn't like to go to the gym, he doesn't like to run, and he's so out of shape because of that he's missing playing time. I don't believe that. Hey there, Marcus. Glad you're here. I think they made the trade because they're afraid in a couple years he's going to want that super max deal, and they wanted to get out of that because if you watched any of the NBA Finals at all last year, Luka Doncic didn't play defense on one possession of one game of the entire series. He's great on offense, but he is a liability on defense. I always thought James Harden had no D in his name because there's no D in James Harden. But James Harden is a all-star defensive player compared to Luka Doncic. He doesn't even attempt to play defense. So I think the Mavericks thought, you know what, this guy's not worth the price he's going to want because he only plays one side of the ball. He don't play defense. So we're going to get rid of this guy while we can. And Anthony Davis just got caught in the trade because if you're going to trade Luka, if you're the Mavericks, you've got to get something in return. So you're basically trading a superstar for a superstar. And if you have not seen both teams' supposed starting lineup going forward, both teams may not have gotten better or worse because I know Anthony Davis is always hurt, but when he plays, he's really good. But the Lakers don't truly have a center anymore. And the Dallas Mavericks truly don't have a point guard. I know they've got Kyrie Irving listed as the point guard, but first of all, Kyrie Irving plays 8 minutes a game. Second of all, he plays about 10 games a year. He's played maybe a full season of games in his entire career, all the years combined. So he's never going to play enough to be your consistent every night point guard. If so, then Kyrie would be your point guard. So you got the Lakers with no true center now, and you got the Mavericks with no true point guard because Kyrie's always hurt. So both teams now are missing a key component of their starting lineups. So I'm not sure if either team gets better or worse. Now, LeBron James tried to claim he didn't know anything about this trade. Anybody believes that, you're living under a rock. LeBron James basically was the general manager of the Cavaliers and the Heat, and now the Lakers. There's no way that they didn't approach LeBron and tell LeBron this is going to happen. He knew. He can try to make everybody feel stupid all he wants to, but anybody with an IQ above 40 knows that LeBron James knew about this trade. He can lie all he wants to. He knew about it. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What do ducks put in their soup? Quackers. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of three. Tell your friends and family how much you love them.